Hey there. Saturday, 5th Sunday of Lent. And what a day it has started out to be. A couple of Sundays ago, 2, maybe 3, was when we had a tenant here have an episode and cut himself up real badly, and blood everywhere. Cops were here, fire engines. And then this morning, we had a shooting. 6 people have died. 12 or so people have been injured. I don't know how many people might be traumatized to this whole thing. I remember hearing pops, bangs. Living where I live, I hear that every couple of weeks. I don't give it any real mind. And then I hear a bunch of people, because my apartment's right facing the street, and I hear a bunch of people running by down the sidewalk, which is unusual. Now that's unusual. I mean, people will often walk and talk, but these people were running. So I thought, man, this is really pretty weird. And then at 5:30, one of my good friends texted me and let me know what had happened and that there'd been a shooting downtown, 1 block away from the cathedral. That's just, in my neighborhood. I didn't know whether the cathedral was going to be blocked off or what. But I got dressed, got ready to go, and I'm making my way down there. And of course, I see a police helicopter up in the sky. And I get down there, and everything's pretty much cordoned off with the yellow tape. But we were able to get in. We went through a parking garage into the back door of the cathedral, and then through our fellowship hall, and then up some stairs. We got in that way. And we were asked to leave the same way because it is still an active crime scene. What a crazy way to start a Sunday. And I went out for lunch, and I'm walking back here getting ready for this, and my heart just breaks for the whole world right now. This is just the straw, right, that broke the camel's back for me. We had that altercation at the Oscars. People are making fun of people about it, but it's not funny. It's not funny for the people involved at all. It's pretty sad. We've got this war going on, Ukraine and Russia. It's just, there's wars around the world. There was another shooting here in Sacramento just a couple of weeks ago. There were shootings all over the United States, actually, I think, within the last 24 hours. It's hard. And, I was thinking we had just a couple of great readings for today. They're both just tremendous readings. For the RCIA readings, for people going through RCIA, the reading was the raising of Lazarus. And one of the remarkable things to me is that whole scene where Jesus weeps. Mary comes to him, she's weeping and crying. And he is so moved that he weeps. Sometimes I feel like we're expected to be stoic, dispassionate, detached. A lot of spiritual traditions teach detachment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with detachment. I think detachment's actually a good thing. But it doesn't mean unemotional. Jesus showed an emotion when it was proper. And that's what we need to learn how to do also. When it's appropriate to cry, cry. When it's appropriate to laugh, laugh. When it's appropriate to feel sad, feel sad. But in appropriate measure, But that's not the gospel I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about the other one. And that's and I want to say thank you to the people that are here. That are, appreciate that very, very much. And also thank you to the people who are watching the recording. It means a lot. Anywho, I think that this reading also has some bearing on how we can take a look at what is happening, not just in our world, not just here in Sacramento, but just in our daily lives. And it's the story of the woman caught in adultery. There's a lot going on in that story, an awful lot. So I reset my equipment so that my camera is behind my screen so that I can share things and still see my screen. So I'm going to share today's reading. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point out something that didn't take place in the lectionary. So let's take a look at that. Okay. A woman caught in adultery. Now, it starts off, then each went to his own house, while Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Now, if you remember yesterday's gospel reading, it ended with, then each went to their own house. That's where it ended. So the gospel reading for yesterday actually ended in the middle of the sentence of the first sentence of chapter 8. I don't know why they do that sort of thing, but they do. Anyway, so I wanted to point that out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the gospel reading. So let me take the reflections off. That'll make it easier for everyone. Right? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. So already it says 8, 1 through 11. It should be 8, 1b through 11 because they chop off the first half of the sentence, but whatever. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. He'd done his dialogue. They went home. He went to the Mount of Olives. But early in the morning, he arrived again in the temple area, and all the people started coming to him, and he sat down and taught them. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery and made her stand in the middle. They said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery." And I'm just going to take a pause there. Do you ever wonder how that was done? How did they do that? Were they like hiding behind the drapes in the bedroom or something? Waiting for, what's the deal here? And why just the woman? Why not the man too? Wasn't the man committing adultery? So anyway, I think that's very interesting. Just the whole setup here. Now, in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say? They said this to test him so that they could have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and began to write on the ground with his finger. Don't you wish that they'd written down what he wrote? We have no idea. Boy, that would be really interesting. But when they continued asking him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again, he bent down and wrote on the ground. It's interesting that he's detaching himself from the situation, right? He's letting it play out without being seriously involved. He could have been, but he doesn't, right? In response, they went away one by one, beginning with the elders. So he was left alone with the woman before him. It's just his response was just fascinating. He didn't say, "Yep, that's what the law says, so that's what we got to do." He didn't say, "Well, you should just show mercy to her." He didn't say, much of anything except, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." And that convicted everyone there. So he was left alone with the woman before him. Then Jesus straightened up, he stood up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She replied, "No one, sir." Then Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on, do not sin anymore." When I was thinking, there's something that I've thought about for a long time. And that is, we love to see people get in trouble. We love it. It's, I don't know about you, but remember what a tattletale is? It's someone who goes and tells because they like to see people get in trouble. I think even as Catholics, we like to see people get in trouble. We like wrongdoers to have their comeuppance. We like people to be punished. We like revenge. We like it. It's what we do. And Jesus is saying, no, there's another way. It's that old thing of remove the beam from your own eye before you remove someone's splinter. Look at yourself. Don't be so worried about other people. People get themselves in trouble. They don't need help from somebody else. And what does it say about us when we get satisfaction from someone else getting their comeuppance? When we see someone, maybe they're a murderer or someone on death row and they get executed, does that make us happy? Why would that make us happy? Why would we be happy at someone's death like that? Especially, it's got to be traumatic. I don't get it. I don't understand that part of human nature that likes to see that sort of thing. I don't get it. But it isn't how we should be, in my opinion. I don't believe that's what Christ taught. I think we should encourage each other to live upright lives. Don't commit adultery. Just don't do it. And if you do it, own up to it, ask for forgiveness. Then don't do it again. Adultery hurts a lot of people, as do a lot of other sins. They don't just hurt the person doing them, they hurt other people. So we should encourage each other to live upright lives, to be the best we can be. So, it's a tough day. I was eating lunch, and it's a little restaurant that's kitty corner with Memorial Auditorium on the backside. And all of a sudden, a fire engine pulled up, and like 3 patrol cars pulled up behind it. Right now, I can hear a helicopter in the sky. I haven't seen anything like this since, some of the Black Lives Matter protests. It's been a while, but here we are. Here we are. So we make the best of today. We love each other. We encourage each other. We care about each other. Check up on each other. See how we're doing. you know, see how we're doing. Because, we're all in this together. As much as we might like to think that we're on our own, we're not. So anyway, that's my reflection for today. I think that's enough, don't you? Anyway, thanks again for hanging out with me on this day. It's a beautiful day otherwise, but it's definitely a time for reflection for all of us, I think, to take stock of who we are and how we are. So until I see you again, which God willing is tomorrow, I hope that we can find happiness, that we can be healthy and safe, and God bless.